Hello, I'm Peter,
And I'm Harry.
and this is Man Up,
Man down.
the podcast where we talk about growing up in the 21st century as a young person
Our experiences with mental health.
and the things that we have to go through as young people in this modern day and age.
We'll be discussing several topics over the course of, I think, we're going to
About 8 weeks.
about 8 weeks we're looking at. And the idea is that we draw our own conclusions, I guess, at the end of each topic that we discuss, kind of figure out for ourselves. We're learning, aren't we, whilst we're doing this?
So, Harry, episode 7. How we doing? How's your week been?
It's been a good week, thanks, mate. Yourself?
Yes, very good, very good. What have you been up to? Anything exciting?
No, if I'm honest, but
Cool.
it's been good. It's been good, regardless. What about yourself? Have you been busy?
I feel like I have. I don't know what, we had Christmas. That was the thing that happened.
Oh God, actually, I forgot about Christmas. So we went out, didn't we? We had a good night.
Well, do you go out twice, do we?
Yeah, so we went out on Christmas Eve.
I don't remember where we went now.
A few drinks. Went to Bury, didn't we?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Saw a few old school friends, which was really nice.
Yeah, well, it's very strange actually, because it's one of the things I was going to talk about on today's podcast is that it was kind of strange in a way seeing all those people from school that we used to know, because the version of Pete that they knew and the version of Harry that they knew, I would say, have changed dramatically. You know, we talk about achievements and goals this week. I think and changes and stuff. I think there's a massive change in both of us. Naturally, there would be, you know, because we're different people to who we were when we were 16 or whatever. But yeah, I just thought it was really interesting. It
was nice. It was really nice to see everyone again.
It was nice to have a catch up, but it was also nice because there were people there who, I'm not going to say we didn't get on. I think I kind of got on with everyone, but there was people there that maybe were just on a different wavelength to me in school. They were on a different, social ladder and different. Just different vibes, really. So it was nice to kind of not have that kind of pressure of having to fit in. Do you know what I mean? People got on a lot more easily that night, it seemed.
It was great, I think, seeing the difference between us being kids and adults. Like there's a clear transformation.
And when you see how far everyone's come to varying degrees, I was speaking to a guy that worked in a bar in town, someone who's an actor, someone who's, loads of different people and careers have come out of it, and obviously there's you who's done nothing since school. I'm joking. But it's really interesting to see how far people had come and where they've gone in life and what they've done, and yeah, I thought it was really interesting.
And Christmas Day, all the food was good. The
Yeah.
food was brilliant. I mean, that's the only thing I look forward to now, obviously. Did you get any nice gifts?
I got a nice jumper that I'm wearing at the moment. I've pretty much worn it every day since Christmas, so I don't know how good that is really.
Yeah,
but
good for you.
I've got that. I got some Doctor Who books and CDs, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So is that a new record? I've mentioned Doctor Who 2 minutes in? Probably not.
You've managed to do it successfully now on every single podcast.
Every single podcast, yeah. Doctor Who. But he did ask me, to be fair. What else did I get? Got a bit of money.
A bit of money.
How
much?
I got.
I'm joking. No, don't disclose.
You don't need to know my financial security or lack of. I got a bit of money. What else did I get? I got a police hat. Very nice.
Nice.
What else did I get? What did you get?
I got a toothbrush.
Oh, nice.
Not
Electric one.
Not because my breath smells or anything. Just.
Well, I don't want to mention it. I'm glad your mum got the message.
No, what it was, I've got an electric one. It's stopped being electric, so I got a new toothbrush, a new electric one.
See, mine is electric, right? But mine, do you know the bit that like clicks onto the actual toothbrush, like the actual head of the toothbrush?
Mm-hmm.
It keeps falling off, so I'll be brushing my teeth and the actual electric bits disappear out of in my hand, and I'm stuck with the other bit in my mouth. It like dislodges itself. So maybe I need a new one. I do need to actually. That's one of my, talking about goals and achievements. I need to book a trip to the dentist at some point, just because it's just been so long.
Is that a goal though?
Well, it is for me. I've been meaning to do it for a month or two, so
yeah.
I think I should probably get around to doing that.
Before the cavities and
it's just so expensive, isn't it? It's just so expensive. But it's more expensive to get it fixed later on in life, so
it certainly is. Anyway, this this isn't a podcast on dentistry, is it? So
no, it's on the next one. No.
let's progress.
Let's get into the topic. Yeah. Oh, and I saw some family over Christmas as well. I had family around.
No, that's good.
But yeah. So achievements. Should we start with that?
Mm-hmm.
And work our way on. So, how do you want to do this? Do you want to say one of your achievements and I'll say one of mine, or do you want to say all of yours and then I'll do all of mine, or what's the best way to do it?
Yeah, we just bounce off each other as we do. So I think you give one,
I give one and you give one. Okay. I actually wrote a list in advance. I mean, I did this a few weeks ago now, just because I was trying to see the positives in the year, as it's sometimes difficult to do. So I'll go back to this list that I had. Right, so I'll read. Obviously I won't read them all out because I've got quite a long list here. Because I'm such a successful guy, you know, all these achievements. But I'll choose a few off the list. So the first one was all the university work that I've done. So I started the year by submitting that film that you worked on, that short film that you did, Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Submitted that back in January, and I did a short video essay about Quatermass for uni, which was quite fun. I enjoyed that. And then later in the year, I did a documentary about a kids' football club, and kind of pitched my own series for a historical drama called Solitaire. And then I kind of ended uni with making my own final short film, Man Who Dreamt of Stars, which you obviously worked on as well. You worked on a bit of that. And I also this year edited an extended cut of Deja Vu, which is my film from last year, and we did screenings of both those films. And then I graduated. So that's kind of all under one kind of banner of uni work. But I'm quite proud of the uni work I've done this year. I feel like it's obviously that's the end of it now, and I think it is an achievement. I think it's difficult to see when you're doing it. It's difficult to see when you're in the midst of it. But looking back now, I'm really proud of all the things I've made, and especially under the short amount of time that I've made them, because like my final project, The Man Who Dreamt of Stars, was done in, I don't know, like 3 months, maybe 2 months.
Yeah.
It was pretty short. And then I was also helping other people out with their films. So I did one called Doorbell with my mate Jack Holding. I did one Pretty Points, which was Belle's film, and I did The Isle of Mull, which was Sophie's film. So I've worked on a few different bits and bobs this year, and I'm quite proud of the stuff I've worked on actually. And you know, talking about the goals for next year, which we'll obviously get into later on, that is one goal achievement that I'm going to find difficult to top next year, because making short films and uni work and stuff is a lot difficult to do outside of uni, because obviously I don't have the equipment and I don't have the people to help me a lot of the time. But nevertheless, I'm very proud of that. Yeah.
Yes, you should be. No, it sounds honestly really, really well done to yourself. Pat on the back, because you've done a lot in the space of 12 months. I think that's the thing that's really commendable. Is it's not just the things that you've done, but it's the number of things you've done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I am very proud of all the stuff I've achieved this year. I feel like I've managed to cram in a lot in terms of filming work and uni work, and although the future, a lot at the moment there's no future in that for me, you know, in terms of I've not got anything lined up at the moment. Yeah, I'm really proud of how far I've come with it.
As you should be, definitely. With myself, I think obviously I'd say an achievement for me has been my involvement in several of the uni projects.
Yeah.
Doing acting, it's been a really, really enjoyable experience.
Yeah, we did a bit of sound operating, didn't you? You did
yeah,
clapperboard. We acted a little bit. You've
held the camera at one point.
Yeah,
held it. I didn't really
Didn't
monitor much else, but yeah.
You did a bit of everything. You were actually very, and I'd say this for all my mates that helped on it. Like, you were all very helpful, and you know, like, because that film, the first week we had quite a good crew, and then not so you weren't a good crew in the second week, but like I basically lost all the, for want of a better word, professional people.
All the people that were like qualified. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I had to kind of train you guys. Well, me and other people had to kind of train you guys up on it, and I just think you did a really good job. I think you actually, you know, you rivaled the people in the first week, and I don't think if you watched it you'd be able to tell that there was two completely different groups of people working on it. I think it was seamless. So yeah, congratulations.
Well, the final project obviously we saw at the premiere, didn't we? And it was superb from start to finish. I thought it was superb. So I think that, you know, you should be really proud on that project, obviously, you know, because I think given the last one that obviously won the award, you could have very easily, I mean, you could have easily just said, you know, well, I've done that film, that project went really well, so I can kind of just relax on this
now on.
Yeah, but you didn't. I think you upped it, if anything.
I think I was more ambitious actually. I think I think you're so right there. I think I could have gone right. I've done the first film, and I will do something more simpler. But I think actually I was like, no, let's go to the next step and do it more ambitious. We'll make a spaceship. We'll make an alien. You know.
Yeah, the whole set, the production behind it, and everything was exceptional. So
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's certainly one of my achievements, I'd say.
It was a joint. I guess a lot of these will be joint achievements in a way, but that's definitely a joint one. So do you want me to read another one, or do you want to go for one of yours?
No, absolutely. I'll listen to yourself.
Okay, so back in January, I moved out of my family home.
Yes.
I moved into my little student flat, which I guess was a little bit spontaneous. Like I didn't really go into the year thinking I was going to move out, and then by the end of the first month of the year, I'd moved out, and I stayed there till end of August, I think, maybe start September.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good 7 or 8 months there. and I think that really helped my independence. It helped with, like, we had some good parties, didn't we? We had some good.
Yeah, the freedom was good. I think definitely.
Like I guess I could just do more.
Was it? I was gonna say, it must have just been nice to have your own company.
Yeah, I think it was a lot easier for me to uni work there as well.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the time when I'm not putting anybody down at home because I love my family, I love people I live with, but I think sometimes when you're at home, there's a lot going on, and you've got
it's distraction.
Yeah, you got family members that use musical instruments, and we've got birds in the house and stuff. So it can be quite, I guess, overwhelming is the word at times. So it was nice. It was nice having my own little zone, and it was nice just doing little stuff like I don't know about you, but like living with the family, I wouldn't ever really think I could go outside at 4 o'clock in the morning and just sit in the garden. But when I was in my flat, sometimes I did that. Sometimes I would just go out at like 4 o'clock in the morning and just sit in the communal area outside. And
yeah,
because remember we had a really hot summer actually, and I couldn't sleep, so I just sat on one. I remember one night I sat on one of the deck chairs outside, and it was just nice memories like that. A lot of nice experiences. I think I became. I think I met a lot of people that I wouldn't have met otherwise. So like a lot of everyone on my corridor on my flat were international students. We had one guy from Nigeria, one guy from I think Zambia. We had a girl from Italy and stuff. So we had a wide range of different people, and a guy from China. So it was nice. I met a lot of new people through it, which I thought was good. So yeah, I don't want to ramble too much, but yeah.
No, obviously it's a big change. It's something. I mean, I know we're talking achievements now, but one of the goals I was going to say was for me to move out next year.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to move out again, but I guess it's just so expensive, isn't it?
It is, especially now and that with the cost of living.
But one thing I will say, and again, if you bring up in your goals later on, we can talk about it more later on. But I would say that I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to move back. I don't think that's seen as because for a while I was like, is it a step back going back home? Am I going? Is it a bad thing? But I think as long as you're doing what makes you happy, and living where it makes you happy, which in my case would be with my family because I love my family, then do it. It's a good chance to save up some money while you're living at home, and
yeah, definitely, absolutely.
It's nice having family around because I mean I would say perhaps occasionally it'd get quite lonely living on your own from time to time, and you don't get that when you're living with family. So there's a lot of positives to it. So I'd never see it as a step backwards. Yeah. You got another one you want to hit me with?
In terms of an achievement this year, I think one thing I can say, is going in the right direction. There needs a lot of work, physically for it as well. But physio for my knee has been quite an achievement.
You don't talk about that much anymore. Actually,
I don't know, but it does. We talk. Obviously, I know it's a mental health podcast in a way, isn't it? Like, and something that's not been good for me has obviously been being away from football.
Yeah.
Just not being able to play. It has been really difficult because obviously I still have a lot of friends that are still out playing each week.
Yeah.
So I have to reflect on that. It fuels my ambition, I guess, or motivation rather, to carry out the physio, because it can get so demotivating. I know I talk about the gym and that, and I enjoy. I think as most people do at the gym, most people, if you ask them, they'd say they prefer training upper body compared to their legs.
Yeah.
Obviously, with me, I need to do a lot of work on my knees and that, and I don't really do enough leg work. So it is something where it's demotivating to know that I've had such a long-term injury, but it's kind of an achievement this year because I have still made good progress with it, but it's also a massive goal for next year. Is I want to say that I'm able to kick a ball around again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that one's a nice one because it's an achievement, but it's still something where there's a huge goal behind it. There's still a huge end sight. Yeah,
it's good. Do you feel like I guess across the board with all the achievements you made this year, do you feel like you end in 2022 as, I use the phrase, a better person than you were at the end of 2021, or do you think you're kind of the same, or do you think you were, I'm not saying worse necessarily, but
I think I'm very, very steadily becoming a better person, I think.
Yeah. Maybe a better way of phrasing it rather than saying you're a better person is, are you happy with yourself?
Happier
in yourself.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm like shy of confidence. I mean, I think what it is that I've not always been the most empathetic. Perhaps I've not always been the most kind of like, you know, like I don't oftentimes acknowledge how my actions can hurt or you know, upset others in way, be it family, friends, and everything.
Yeah.
So I think I'd say I've become more empathetic this year, and I think I'm more understanding. I'm more. I acknowledge more other people's. You know.
It's really interesting actually. 'Cause I would say that you went through quite a drastic change nearer the start of the year, and I went through a drastic change near the end of the year. I think in terms of our mindsets changing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, I was just going to say, like, in terms of, I don't want to go too much in detail with it, but, you know, we as a friend group kind of fell out with you between, I guess, January and May, or maybe January and June.
I think it was around that time.
Few months, and I can definitely say that I see a vast difference, and I hate the word improvement, but improvement in how you are. You seem a lot calmer than you used to be.
Well, friends, obviously, we won't name, but you know, people that really did fall out with me, and rightly so. I've been able to like slowly regain those friendships of late, and I think that's because people can finally see a change, and it took obviously a long time and a lot of.
I think you're a lot better with your alcohol as well now. I'm not saying you were ever at any point raging alcoholic, but
no, I know, but I know, and you know, I think everyone knows that I'm not, or I haven't been in the past a good person on alcohol. You know, it's made me say things that I don't mean. It's made me do things that I don't mean to do.
You seem 9 times out of 10 nowadays to be a lot calmer with it.
Yeah, with alcohol, without alcohol, definitely. But it's because I've got a change in my mindset. I've matured essentially. I don't mind saying it. I think I have matured. I think the biggest take I've got from this year is I've seen a growth in maturity, and with that, everything's kind of improved. Really, I'd say my mental health's improved. My relationships with others has improved. My relationships with my family's improved.
That's good.
So there's a lot of positives I can take from this year. I don't necessarily have achievements as such as to say I've done this with a job, or I've done this with you know, like I don't have a flat yet, I don't have a car. There's a lot of goals, which is good.
Yeah, but it's like I said to you on a previous podcast, like you can't expect all these things to just happen overnight.
No, exactly.
Like they're so gradual. I mean, like, you know, all changes in my life have been gradual, and I think it's the same with anybody. Like you can't. You know, I think it's unrealistic to want to change your whole life overnight. Should I read out another of mine?
Yeah, please.
My next one on the list, and again, I won't read out all of them because it's not the Pete show. We're not trying to, you know, say, look at me, how amazing am I? But this one might not mean a lot to you, or it might not mean a lot to a lot of people, but I interviewed a Doctor Who actor who's never been interviewed before, which was a bit of something I didn't expect to do at the start of the year. And I was quite proud of doing. So I was at a university. Basically, universities had a lot of strikes. Kind of in the middle of the year, and so our lecturer said, "Well, we can't do any lessons on campus, so we'll go to, you know, Home Cinema in Manchester, and do a lecture there." And while we were at it was basically a little cafe we were doing it in the cinema. While I was having the lecture, I noticed on one of the other tables there was someone who was in, I think, 4 or 5 episodes of Doctor Who about 10 years ago, and she was a kid when she was on Doctor Who, or a teenager when she was on Doctor Who, or when they were on Doctor Who, sorry, and I asked them if they'd be happy for me to interview them, and a few weeks later I interviewed them, and it was good. It was nice. It was nice that not to be like, you know, pat my own back again, but nice to have that almost like that little scoop of having, you know, interviewed someone that literally nobody else has ever interviewed. I thought that was quite a little achievement. But yeah,
the fact that you were able to interview as well that's pretty cool, isn't it?
I was quite nervous, even though like they're not a massive character in Doctor Who. Not to put them down, but they're not. I was quite nervous meeting them, and I think from what I've heard of people who've listened to it, like my dad's listened to it and other people who listened to it, said that I'm quite good at doing interviews and quite good at putting people at ease.
You're
talking
a good listener,
to them. So I'm glad if that's how it comes across. I'm glad, and I was quite happy with it overall. So I've got that one. Just have you got any others, or do you want to jump in with one?
No, I'm interested to listen to yours because I know you've done an awful lot this year.
So, well, this next one's kind of a joint one, and we haven't actually finished this yet, but I'll just very briefly mention this one. We started filming our own version of Come Dine With Me.
Yes.
We've not finished it yet, but
I really can't wait for that, you know.
I hope we do finish it.
We've been anticipating this for a good while, so essentially, if you've seen the programme, like, you obviously Come Dine With Me. So we'll make food, won't we? And then we will judge food.
Yeah.
Pretty much it.
Yeah. And I did my cooking. I did my 3-course meal, so I'm just waiting for everybody else to do their 3-course meal, and looking forward to tasting them in the new year, hopefully.
It should be really good. I did enjoy filming it, actually. It was a lot of fun.
Mm.
Do you know, one of the achievements that I can say very quickly has actually been, for me, has been doing these podcasts.
Yeah.
I think it's been a big thing because I enjoy doing them, for one, and it's, you know, it's like, I've always been really closed, if you like, about my mental health and that, besides talking to yourself and family, because I think that speaks volumes of the relationship that we have, the friendship we have.
But I think a lot of it, I mean, like, I know we have obviously touched on mental health, and I know mental health is a big theme of it, but
yeah.
I think a lot of it is just open about other things as well, and like, you know, lads in general just don't talk, and I'm not even talking about mental health, I'm just talking in general. Lads just, you know, they say, how you doing, mate, and that's kind of it. Oh, yeah, I'm alright.
Yeah.
They don't really talk about how the day's been, or what they've been up to, or meeting family, or uni work, or I just feel like generally people don't, you know, men don't open up much. Maybe it's the way society's going with social, you know, we talked about social media before, but maybe it's just the way society's going. I don't know.
I feel like men will do those conversations with women, with friends and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's not really
man to man. You just
man to man. You just don't really, or you might do it to your family or whatever. But it's just whenever it seems to be amongst peers all the time, isn't it?
And it's been nice trying to like. You know, another thing I'd say about it's nice that it's been so consistent in that we've managed to do it for, at the moment, 7 weeks. Because when I first started doing the podcast, I thought, oh, maybe we'll do it for like 2 or 3, and then we'll kind of like, we'll get busy with other stuff and we'll give up and stuff. But no, we've done it 7 weeks consistently.
I think what it is for me is you see one comment, even just one comment of someone saying they enjoyed it, and that to me is a huge accomplishment, because I always remember a quote that, you know, if you can help someone, you help everyone, something like that, or like basically, obviously it's not technically true, is it? You know, it's like I'm not, you know, saving the world, but
no, people's actions have
but what I'm saying, you know, everyone's lives count equally, so you know, if you know, if you can make a positive impact on somebody's life, even just for, you know, like however long the podcast length is or whatever, just any sort of influence whatsoever. Yeah. And that fills me with pride. That's. Well,
I think on a personal level, it's been nice to block off kind of an hour or two a week where we just talk to each other. No, you know, we don't go on our phones. We're not at the pubs. So there's not other people talking around us. It's quite nice to have, you know,
it's quiet,
sit in a car. It's quite windy today, to be fair, but sit in a car and just kind of taking our surroundings and, you know, just talk to each other and just catch up a little bit. It's been nice. And on a further level, I think it's also been nice that it's kind of also an excuse for me to practice my editing with the podcast, and you to have a go at trying to work out how all the microphone stuff works. You obviously do a lot of that on the day, so on a technical level, I think we've learnt a lot through it.
Definitely, yeah. There's so much. I can't think of honestly one negative surrounding doing the podcast. So certainly, I'd say it's an achievement from this year.
Yeah, and it kind of dovetails into my other achievement that's kind of connected to the podcast, which was my walk that I did. You know, the 36-mile walk back in November.
Do you know, I say for me, that's, and I think you might disagree, but I think for me that's the biggest thing you've done this year, the biggest accomplishment, I'd say. Because, first of all, we should say the money that you independently have raised for Mind, for the organisation.
It actually got, my grandparents have just put some money towards it. I don't think it's actually been uploaded yet to the fundraiser. But when they upload it, or if they upload it, it should be £700.
£700. We're talking nearly £1,000. Like, this is what, you know, some charities get on, like, you know, from game shows, from big quiz shows in the UK. You have done this independently, like, genuinely.
Yeah.
Like,
that was a good achievement.
Like, honestly, like, I am so proud of you as your friend, like, because I feel like, you know, it would have been, it's difficult enough just to raise the money. But to do what you did as well, the walk, the length, you know, don't even think you really took any breaks or anything as well.
Well, I was quite looking at Charlie, you know, who was on the podcast for episode 3. He helped me with kind of stopping every, you know, maybe once an hour and
making sure you survived in the end.
Yeah, just give me a drink or I think there was, you know, certain like an hour or two where I left my bag with him in his car and I didn't have to carry a big heavy bag around with me. So he did help a lot, and you know, Sean was at the other end with a working shower, and it was nice. People were helping me out, and yeah, it was good. And then you know, you supported me the whole time with it, and
I thought genuinely if we made 50 or 60 quid, I said we, it was yourself really, but saying that, like, I thought 50 or 60 quid for a charity. Still goes a good way.
We made, I think, £78 from the film screening.
Yeah.
Which is more than I thought we'd get altogether. So.
And we should say, if any of our viewers are watching that did contribute, a massive, massive thank you. And a pat on the back from us too, because it really does, make a difference,
It does, and I think sometimes that, we've spoken on the podcast before about when you're living in a place of privilege, whether that be, we've got a roof over our heads and shelter, and mentally we're kind of mostly okay.
Yeah.
I know you've had your troubles, and perhaps I could say the same for me, but mostly we are okay. But there's a lot of people out there who are struggling a lot more than us.
One thing we want to encourage from the podcast is to almost to embrace your troubles, to speak up about them, because that's the way that we learn. I think that's the way essentially that we're able to grow. The big thing that's helped me so much has been talking with yourself, our old chats at the bus stop and everything, which kind of inspired the podcast idea, didn't it?
Well, all that's changed now is that it's a bit warmer because we're in the car.
Yeah. But no, I think that it kind of. We've never really talked about what kind of inspired the podcast. I think.
I don't think so. No.
I think we spoke a bit early on at the very beginning about kind of the vision and what we wanted to get out of it, but
and it's kind of changed a little bit since we started. I mean, in terms of I guess we haven't spoken much about mental health as much as I thought we would. Like some of the topics we've done, like education isn't much about mental health, and but it's just maybe it's not all about mental health. Maybe some of it's just about growing up in the 21st century and our experiences. And
the thing is I don't think everything that we speak about has to be specifically about
how
to deal with something or this, that, the other. I think what we're trying to emphasise is that not just men, even though we've said before the podcast is man up, man down because of the stigmatization surrounding young men. Not young men, men of all ages. Even people that aren't adult age. Even if there's youngsters watching this, because that's the age really where mental health, especially with today's age, with everything that's going on with technology and prices increasing for everything, and that it's one of the most difficult times to live, I think, as a young person.
Yeah, definitely.
So, but that's why we do it essentially. I don't want to ramble. I just wanted to say that that's kind of what we do it for.
But the walk and the podcast are two things that when I look at the other stuff that I've done this year, in terms of my short films and stuff, I can kind of expect at the start of the year that I would end up doing those things because they were expected. But with the walk and with the podcast, the two things that I went into the start of the year not expecting to do. So I'm really proud that I did. I'm really happy that we did, and thank you for everyone's support.
Yeah, it's the biggest take for me is I think that for me that's your biggest achievement, I'd say, because I honestly, when it just kept going up by the hundreds, I was like, my word,
it was crazy.
It.
And thanks to the pub that we go to, they put a lot of money towards it, and they did a lot of help to try and
raise
money.
A lot of people to thank, definitely.
So thank you to everybody. So the next one that I wanted to mention briefly is that and it seems appropriate since where we're doing this podcast now, but I bought a car.
Yes, which we're in,
and again, if you said to me at the start of the year, would Pete buy a car, I'd probably have said no way, never.
Well, you said on the first podcast that one of your fears was driving.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I had a real. I don't want to use the word anxiety because I think it gets overused perhaps sometimes, but I had
you can't. I
had a real anxiety when it came to driving, and I still do in some respects. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing loads of roundabouts and loads of motorways. In fact, it was interesting because when we did the first podcast, which was it last week or the week before? I can't remember.
I think it was the week before. Actually. Yeah.
It was last week. I can't remember what last week was. Anyway, when we did the first podcast, we spoke about my fear of cars, and then we accidentally ended up basically, not quite, but kind of nearly on the motorway, didn't we, afterwards?
Yeah, and I feel like we ended up a few roundabouts as well.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. So it was just a bit ironic that we'd done, talked about this fear, and then
you've got to remember though. I think if you ask, I feel like 95% of drivers, if you ask them, would say, probably 99% would say they don't enjoy motorways or.
That's true. That's true. And also, most people that you ask, 95%, 99% would say that when they started driving, they had a real fear of it. I think it's very natural to have a fear of driving. So I'm just really happy that I've got to a point now where I got my car in October, and it's now December, end of December, and I feel like I feel comfortable in areas that I know. Like even, driving here today was.
It's like I said on the first podcast though, that. The hardest thing when you fear something is, especially if something goes wrong or you have a bad experience, is to get back, to get back behind the wheel, if you like, so to speak, or because it's a huge thing. But all of your achievements, all of my achievements as well, actually, they've all come from consistency. They've not come from. You can't say something's really you know, that much of an achievement if you've not stuck it out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, you are right. Definitely.
Most things that you'll say is like, you know, something that you've accomplished will have come from hard work.
Yeah,
definitely.
you've got to, whenever you come out of your comfort zone with something, or whenever you challenge yourself, because life's, ultimately life's all about challenges. It's one of the big things in today's podcast with achievements and goals and stuff. Everything that we've achieved this year, we've had to, in some way, whether it be big or small, we've had to break down a wall, haven't we?
Yeah.
You know, me with the Doctor Act, I've had to pluck up the courage to go and talk to her and then do the interview. Buying a car, I've had to really get myself into a mindset where I will drive and I'll force myself to do it. You know, moving out again, force myself to do that in some respects. You know, making my short film, a lot of that was hard work. You've got to put yourself in an area where you're not so comfortable and just go for it sometimes. And that doesn't mean put yourself in crazy life-threatening situations like walking over a motorway. But
no, it's like I said though on the first
sensible,
podcast
yeah.
again. It's like I say, it's a leap of faith. It really is sometimes, and it's the most difficult thing sometimes is to think, you know, that's where again, you know, huge like admiration for yourself for driving this year, because I know that took a massive leap of faith to not just to buy a car, but to then, you know, it's one thing having a car, but if you're never going to drive it, do you know what I mean? It's like the driving was the worrying thing, wasn't it? It wasn't getting the car.
Yeah. Should I talk a bit? I mean, I don't know if you've got any more goals, achievements you want to talk about, but I've got a few. But the ones I've got left are kind of ones we've talked about on previous podcasts. So maybe if I just mention them briefly and just run through them.
Yeah, absolutely.
The ones on the list. So if I just quickly round off these last few achievements that I wrote down, because I don't want to take too long with this, because we've got other stuff to move on to, I guess. Joined the gym again, and I've been going quite regularly with that. I'm feel happy with that. I think it's the same for you. Quite happy with our achievements in the gym this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I know I've spoken about it before, but it's a gradual thing. It will take time to see change. So it's one of those things where you've got to kind of like just keep going at it, even if you're not seeing any physical change or proper change. Bought an alarm clock, and I'm trying to, aiming to sort my sleeping pattern out. And it's okay. It's hit and miss, but it's okay. I woke up at 6:30 this morning. How's your sleeping pattern, Harry?
Not good. I think it's one of the big goals I've got in conjunction with is that the word? I think so. Yeah, with gym for next year is diet and sleep, because those are the two main things. In fact, there is something else actually, but I think we'll talk about that in just a short while. As being something that's a bad habit I want to quit, which you've already said is, kind of alcohol is something.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it anymore, but I think it's stopping me from getting the most potential that I could out of my mind and body, I think. So I want to really eliminate that next year.
You've essentially got to fuel your mind and your body with things that will make you feel better. So if you realise that alcohol isn't making you feel better, or if you realise that, I don't know, hanging out with a certain person isn't making you feel better, you've got to cut these things out after a while. I know it sounds harsh in some regards, but
no, it's absolutely true.
You've got to be quite selfish with certain things, and
of course.
And you've also got to be wanting to make a change. So
it's about having respect for yourself, isn't it? Because if someone else isn't respecting you, or something that you're putting in your body isn't respecting your body or something, then again, you've got to. That's where you've got to make a decision as an adult.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue down that path, which is going to lead, to misery, or do you want to do something that's going to make you happy and successful? And for me, like I say, I think eliminating alcohol, sorting my sleep pattern out, and fixing my diet, because again, the gym's going really well in terms of my strength is getting really good, but I'm not gaining any weight because I'm not eating, and I'm not particularly getting the most that I could. I could be doing better if I sorted my sleep out. I'd be lifting heavier. I'd have more energy. I mean, you only have to look at yourself. You don't drink. You're sleeping a lot better. I think you're eating a lot better now as well. And the results are, what is it, level 15 you were saying on the treadmill now?
Oh yeah, on the speed thing, yeah.
Yeah.
For 2 minutes.
Which, like you say, I don't want to say old Pete, but you know what I mean. Like school, you would have never.
Well, we said even like pulling the car up here today, we were talking about, weren't we? And we were saying that, like, if my old PE teacher could see me now, like, I've come on so far. Like, I used to literally come last, or second to last, or third to last in cross country races, and I was just rubbish at PE. I used to hate PE. I used to hate everything about it, and nowadays it's like I willingly go to the gym, and yeah, I just feel like I'm a better place with exercise and physical exercise.
And I know that I know it's took a lot of effort. It's not been easy, we should say, because I think initially you didn't want to go to the gym for several reasons. One, which is a big thing for a lot of people, is the fear that you're being judged. I think not many will talk about it, but I think it's a big thing that a lot of people have suffered with before. And it's not just the gym; it could be any club. It could be Scouts, so it could be.
I would say that you and Joe and Zaki have really helped with that, because going on your own can be quite intimidating if you don't know how the machines work or you don't know how certain things work.
Yeah.
And when you have somebody else there with you to kind of show you, it really helps, because I mean, if nothing else, if you're doing it wrong, so is the other person. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're not the only one making a fool of yourself.
The big take I've got from the gym, something I've learned, which I didn't expect, is how friendly people actually are and how willing they are to help.
Well, there's a guy the other day. There was a pin missing from the weights thing that you put a pin in so it goes on the weight that you need.
Yeah.
Pin missing, and some guy comes up to you and says, "I'll go find you one." You didn't work there or anything. He just was a guy at the gym that just helped me find it.
Yeah, I always remember someone spotting me for a weight that I could lift, but I couldn't lift up at the time.
Yeah.
I've learned a technique now whereby I can do that, which is great. But it's. I think, our confidence has increased so much this year. I really think, in our own separate ways, perhaps.
What, in terms of gym or in terms of general?
Well, that's why I say in our own separate ways. I think the gym's something we can both say. I think we've both gained confidence.
Yeah, but you know what? It's even little stuff like, I mentioned briefly before about having my film screenings.
Yeah.
I had a lot of anxiety actually about speaking in front of people
Public
before
speaking.
them.
Yeah.
And I had to do it for both of them. I didn't have to, but I chose to do it for both of them. And
done it twice now, and as well you had it wasn't just friends there, which I think is oftentimes
family, strangers.
Like friends is already difficult, but having family as well, and then strangers and people, probably
also
even lecturers as well.
Also people from uni who I felt like sometimes had made better films than me. It was quite intimidating to have them there in the audience, but I think everyone enjoyed the screenings as far as I'm aware, and it's good. So the last achievement that I've written down, and we have spoken about it before, so we'll just very briefly brush past it, but winning the quiz.
The quiz. Oh, how could I forget the quiz? So, I mean, I think we've said before, haven't we, about winning the quiz on one of the podcasts. So that is, for us, a huge achievement, because we've been doing it, the last 2-3 years? Something crazy like that. I think it was like 2019 or something.
Yeah, I think it was about May 2019 or something like that, yeah.
So, I think we said, didn't we, that we were awarded a few
bonus points.
A few
26
bonus points, sympathy points, but
yeah,
they cannot take away from the fact that we had that trophy that day. So,
and it was funny because we went to the I remember the last one we recorded was the relationship podcast. Actually, I remember that now.
Yeah.
And when we recorded that, we said, "Well, are we going to go to the quiz tonight? Because we've won now. Do we have to? Do we want to go back?"
Well, legacy set in stone.
Yeah, we ended up actually going to the quiz in the end. We did it, but we didn't do the quiz. We just turned up to the pub, didn't we? Didn't actually do the quiz. And the guy who runs the quiz said, last place is up for grabs now that the young ones aren't here. Which I thought was quite funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm really happy that we've done that. I know technically, we had a few bonus points or sympathy points, whatever you want to call it, but we've done it. We've won the quiz. We've been the winners of our little
and we should say, although we did get significantly more bonus points, that we weren't the only ones. There were other teams that also got bonus points.
That's true, and we also did. I think we did fairly well without the bonus points. I mean, we still would have been last or second last, but for us, we did still pretty well.
Definitely, absolutely.
So happy with that. So should we move on to unless you've got any other achievements you want to talk about?
I think I'm a lot more focused on goals for the new year. Yeah, because I don't think I've achieved enough this year. That's the purpose of me having these goals now. Is I'm like, right, this year. 2022 is over now. It's been good overall. It's not been all doom and gloom or anything. It's I've had difficulties as we all have, but it's been a good year. But I really want to make the most out of 2023 now, and this podcast has really given me kind of like the fuel I need, if you like. So
yeah, I mean one last little thing I could say about this year, and it's not really an achievement because I suppose anybody could do it, but I've not had energy drinks for nearly 3 months. I've not had fizzy drinks or McDonald's for nearly 2 months.
I'd say that's a huge achievement.
So,
because I know there's a lot of people out there that genuinely, I'm not just saying this, struggle with addiction over energy drinks. Monsters.
I've never been to be fair, energy drink can never been too bad at. I know some people are, like you say. For me, it's fizzy drinks, but more so McDonald's. I used to, and I could even now. I could have one now, but you have to force yourself not to have it. Actually,
well, you got it. Yeah,
I've probably said it before on the podcast. I'm kind of an all or nothing kind of guy. So if I can't have it all the time, I'm going to have it another time. So last one I had was Halloween. Not had a McDonald's since Halloween, and
two of the most addictive things: sugar and caffeine. You know, you think how many people drink like coffee all the time, and that it's like you want a coffee all the time.
Yeah.
You want the caffeine. It's not the coffee. You want the caffeine.
No, it's true.
And this is what I'm saying, and this is why I think it's an achievement. I know you weren't specifically. It was more like, you know, like Coke, lemonade, that kind of thing, wasn't it? Than like, you know, you say like the Monsters, the Red Bulls. We don't get like copyrighted for brands or anything. But
maybe they'll sponsor us.
Yeah. Well, you never know. We're here. We're open.
Yeah.
But I think genuinely, and I'm glad you've said that actually, because I know that's a big thing that a lot of people, not necessarily our viewers,
but you know what? There's also, I mean, we'll talk about more on goals for next year. There's a few things I do want to cut out next year in the early months, in terms of like I'd like to cut out fast food entirely. Whether that's achievable, I don't know. I'd like to, stuff like that. I'd like to get my sleeping pattern 100% sorted. The stuff that I've still got room for improvement on, stuff like that. But the stuff I've achieved in terms of energy drinks, fast food, and fizzy drinks, I'm really proud of. So, should we get onto the goals? Should we do it?
Absolutely.
Right, so we've written down, I think it was 7 categories.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what you've chosen for your goals, or whether you've even prepared any. I assume you have, but yeah.
I've definitely got some in mind.
Yeah.
But I don't want to keep rambling on about gym. I feel like I've kind of said that now.
Yeah.
But I will say it very quickly. One of my biggest goals for 2023 is I want to get to around 72.5 kilograms.
Yeah.
I'm 60 right now, so it's a lot of gain. But I do
go to Mackey's.
Yeah, I do. I genuinely think it is attainable. So
that's good.
So that's one. I'll give one.
Well, just before we start the goals, I've actually got 2 tweets that I wanted to read out that I just came across because I was doing a bit of research about goals last night and I found a few useful websites. I didn't save any of them, of course I didn't, but I found 2 tweets which I had liked, so I'll just read these out to you. The first one was, and these are a bit wishy-washy. Some of them are a bit kind of the sort of thing your parents would share on Facebook, but I'll read them anyway because I think they're quite nice quotes. If you're struggling to, I think New Year is quite a difficult time for a lot of people in terms of the end of the year and the start of another one. So the first one, and I don't know who these tweets are by. I don't recognise the names. I don't know if it's by anybody famous, but I'll read them out anyway. First one is, obviously this was a few days ago that they tweeted this, but it said, "You've got 8 days to let go of everything that needs to stay in 2022. All the people, pain, disappointments, hurt, heartbreak, grudges, fear, and negativity. Let it all go. 2023 is going to be the year of new beginnings." And I think that's so true. I think we all have things in our lives that we would like to see the back of, whether it is, people or certain characteristics that we have, or we all have our own things in life that we kind of want to. And this is a great. As much as I'm not a fan of New Year's resolutions because I think it's a very arbitrary thing to choose, a very arbitrary time to choose to change your life. I think for some people, it's a good chance for them to close a door on something and say, actually, this is the start of a new beginning.
Yeah.
You get me? I don't know if that was a load of nonsense. But
No, absolutely not. No, I think it can be hard, especially, for people that have really had a tough year. Because I haven't had a tough year. If anything, it's been quite easy.
I just really hate New Year, actually.
Yeah.
New Year's my least favourite time of the year, actually. I'm not a fan of it. I think part of it is that kind of conclusion of one year and the start of another. I find it quite discombobulating, and I don't know, there's something kind of just I don't know, I feel kind of, I guess mournful is the word I'd look for, quite mournful about.
I think one of the hardest things about the new year, perhaps for a lot of people though, is if you've had a particular bad last few months around this Christmas period, if you've had a rough November, December and that, going into the new year and finding yourself motivation to start as you mean to go on in the best way.
So I got that, and then the second one I got was this, which again maybe it's a bit wishy-washy, but I'll read it out. And I'll leave you with this: it doesn't matter if you gained 70 pounds, got divorced, or lost your job in 2022. 2022 is dead. 2023 is alive. Reinvent yourself.
And that's what I want to do, is reinvent myself, almost like.
Yeah.
Well, not. I'm on the path.
You don't want to change who you are completely.
Yeah, no, I'm on the right path, but I want to kind of like boost everything. I want, because
boost. Thought we weren't doing any drinks. Wee.
Absolutely no. I mean, I think having a lot of goals is the best way, I think, to maintain motivation. I think if you don't have a plan,
I think they've got to be realistic.
Oh yeah, no. Well, I always use it. one thing that I've always taught from school, one thing I always remember is SMART targets.
We talked about it before on the podcast, don't we, I think?
It's such a good, because in any sense, I thought it was only useful for business acumen, because that's the only way that I learnt it in college with business studies and that. The only way I really remember it. PE actually as well in school and that. For like, you know, setting like training methods and stuff like that. But it accounts for so much in life. If it's like you budgeting with finances or something, or if it's planning a holiday, or you know, whatever it is in life, whatever it is you want to do, if you can look at like SMART objectives for it, which we should highlight, are specific.
But you've also attainable, measurable,
achievable.
I can't smell smart.
Realistic.
Realistic. Okay.
And I think there's different variations. Time efficient, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say that, you know, if your big goal is to be head of Amazon, right, for example, don't go into your goal now saying I want to be head of Amazon. I mean, obviously you can have that goal, but break it down into smaller steps. So if your goal is, I mean, it's probably quite a bad example really, but if your goal is to be head of Amazon, break it down and go, well, I'll start by working in a warehouse, and then I'll start by working on an online.
Yeah, and then I'll get more into the business side of it, you know.
Don't think that you're going to be. Yeah, goals have got to be realistic. Don't think you're going to be head of Amazon by next year, because it probably isn't going to happen. Right, so should we go through the goals? So I'll just start by saying that the reason I've kind of planned this podcast is because I thought it'd be so nice if we do come back for a series 2 of the podcast, which I don't know if we will or not. I hope to, but who knows where we'll be this time next year. It'd be nice to come back and listen back to these voice clips of us saying what our goals are, and then we can say whether we've achieved it or not, and it might be quite a nice way of doing it. But at the same time, I'm also conscious that I don't want to apply too much pressure, because not everybody does succeed at New Year's resolutions, and I guess that's okay as well. You know, sometimes people do put a lot of pressure on each other. So yeah, it'd be nice to come back to it at some point in next year and see if we've actually managed to achieve these personal goals that we've got. But goal number 1 is consistency. So I've written down something we want to improve that will be a consistent change in our lives and overall benefit it. So what's your one for that, if you've got one? Something that's going to be a consistent change, something that's, you know, kind of gradual, but will end up being consistent, and something that will, you know, benefit your life. Because, do you want me to say mine while you're thinking, if you've not got one? Do
you know what mine is? And it sounds almost, you know, comedic, but work. I need consistency with the job, because what I don't want to be doing is going in and out of different jobs, because I don't think it's good.
Yeah.
You know, it's not good for me financially. It's not good for mental health.
It's not good. It's not good in terms of the amount of people you'd have to get to know. In terms of like you'd be changing a lot if you got loads.
Well, I mean, there's a plus and negative of that, because say for example, if it was acting and I actually, you know, like got an agent or something, and that I'd be working with a lot of different people on different projects, and I'd be going from job to job to job. Obviously, in the same industry, the same field, but obviously it's not like one job unless I was, I don't know, like on the set of Coronation Street or something and I had a big role. But realistically, it's not that. It's just going from, you know, job to job. So what I want to do is, even if it's something that I don't particularly enjoy, because one of my goals is, like you say, is to build my income. Because I remember a time where I had a really good sum of money.
Yeah.
By now, I could have had a car next to yours here. I could have had my own flat, and I really could have, because if I would have kept that job as well, I think I won't get into the specifics of my finances, but, you know, like I had like 4 figures. So, you know,
you could have been head of Amazon.
I was in a good position. The amount of money that I have wasted away on alcohol, it's actually quite appalling when I look back. Obviously, you know, I can forgive myself a little bit. You know, I'm young, I'm silly, and I'm going to make mistakes. And
but I guess you've also got to do stuff that you enjoy. So, like, I spent quite a lot of money recently at Comic Con. Me and Sean went to Comic Con, and I think it's okay to spend a bit of extra money here and there. But yeah, like you say, I guess if you are spending $8,000 on alcohol for over a year, or whatever it is, then
yeah. I mean, it's probably not far off at this point. And when I think back of like where, you know, around that figure of money could have gone, like, it's crazy. But the thing is again, I go back to your quote. I can't remember it specifically, but about like just forgetting all that, because that's happened now. I could either just think about that, or I could think, right, I'm still a young man, I'm 22, I've still got my health, I've still got my family, I've still got my friends, I've still got a home, I've got everything that I need. You know, I've still. There's so much, and again, like you say, when we talked about, I can't remember the podcast specifically, but I remember the point. So I was saying about kind of remembering what we have, and remembering how lucky that we are. Because I think when we're feeling at our worst, and I think it might have been on the mental health podcast actually, I'm saying about, you know, something that's really good is to just remember what we have.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyhow, goals, like you say. So one thing with consistency, I would say, is definitely for me is I want to be consistent with the job.
So work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
My consistency one, and I have made a good stab at it this year, but I'd like to, you know, I'd hope to be even better next year. Is I really want to, you know, aim to wake up early every day, or most days. I think like once in a blue moon, if it's like a Christmas, like the other day was Christmas and Boxing Day, so I stayed up a little bit later at night, you know, in the evening. I think sometimes it's okay, but I'd like to, on the whole, 99% across the board, I'd like to be, you know, waking up at 6:30 in the morning and going to bed at 10:30 in the evening. I'd like to get my full 8 hours. I'd like to wake up feeling relaxed and refreshed and getting jobs done early. Even if I'm, you know, even if I'm not in work till 9 or 10 in the morning, it's a good few hours just to, you know, sort out.
You made me remember
stuff.
actually. Sorry, another thing I want to be really consistent with next year. I haven't had breakfast in a long time. Yeah, definitely. I want to have breakfast, because I feel like it's been so long since I've had breakfast now. And you know, they say it's the most important meal of the day, and truly, like, I think if I can get up at a good early time before work and eat breakfast, it'll set me up for the day.
But that's it. So like this year I have kind of on and off been okay with my sleeping pattern. I've been a lot better this year than I ever have in the past. And there's been days where I have genuinely woken up at 6:30, been to the gym, watched an episode of Doctor Who, done all this stuff, and that's before 9 o'clock. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've done stuff before I'd even normally be awake. So I just feel like you can achieve a lot more. And like, because like I feel like in the evenings, most people in the evenings, all they end up doing is scrolling through the phones on Twitter and stuff anyway.
Yeah.
Like, most evenings aren't actually that productive. So I'd rather go to bed early and then have a productive morning, or I don't know. I just feel like that would be quite a good one to do. Should we move on to number 2?
Yeah, absolutely.
So number 2 is drum roll please while I open my phone up. Skill. A new skill we want to learn in 2023, either to help us with something or just as a hobby. Oof. So what have you got as yours? Or do you want me to tell you mine?
Yeah, so begin with yours.
So mine, and I don't know if you're going to laugh at this, but I want to start knitting.
Okay.
And that sounds like a bit of a weird thing to say as a 22-year-old male.
You'll need a lot of patience.
I think I will. But I think, basically, my plan is, in the new year, maybe not on New Year's Day, but maybe a few days after New Year, I want to start knitting, and I want to finish it by November, and I want to knit my own Doctor Who scarf.
Wow. Okay. That's a really good aim.
Because it's the anniversary of Doctor Who in November, so I could try and finish it before the anniversary, and then I've got something to show for my year's worth of.
Do you have grandparents that knit?
Work. I don't. My dad knitted his own Doctor Who scarf when he was kind of my age or a little bit younger, so he's done it before. My auntie knits, or a few of my aunties knit, or have knitted in the past. So there's people around that could help if I needed the help. But I think it'd be a nice challenge. It may be something that I get a bit frustrated with. I don't know if I necessarily have the patience for it, but I think it's something I want to try at least, and hopefully I'll get somewhere with it, and hopefully I'll enjoy doing it, and yeah, it might be nice while I'm watching TV just to do a bit of knitting. I don't know, it sounds like such an old man thing to say, but it's just a new challenge, new skill.
Sounds brilliant. Genuinely, honestly, I wish you luck with that. I'm sure, I've no doubt almost that you will, because I know when you put your mind to something.
The full scarf, the full Doctor Who scarf is 12 foot long.
Wow.
So it would be a challenge.
Yeah.
But it's a nice challenge. It's good. So yeah, we'll see. I don't want to say that any of these goals. I don't want to say that all of these goals are going to get achieved, because I don't want to almost.
But we'll aim for
raise our expectations too high.
Yeah,
but we'll aim for it. So that's my skill. What's your skill?
One thing I have stalled at for so long, which I've really wanted to do for so many years, and I've never had the consistency with it. So again, it kind of ties in. I want to learn a musical instrument. Specifically, I think the piano / keyboard, if you like.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful sounding instrument. There's, there's so much that I could do if I was consistent with it. I know that there's so much I'd want to learn. Classical music as well as I guess a lot of modern music and that. But I just don't have the consistency with it. So many times in the past I tried guitar, I've tried drums, I've tried, obviously the keyboard and that.
I would love it if we came back for a second series of podcasts next year and we say, how did your goals go, Harry? And I turn up with a scarf that's
and I'm Mozart,
and you're there with a trombone. No, genuinely, I'd love that. I'd love that if we could do that.
Well, it's something I've wanted to do for a while. I love music, and it's something that I've always used the excuse, and I will call it an excuse, because there are people that that have like mental health conditions and stuff that are brilliant, like some of the best musicians in the world.
Yeah.
So I can't use that as an excuse. In the past, I've thought, because of my conditions and that, I'm just not coordinated. I can't multi-focus. I'm not going to be able to use my left hand at the same time as my right. But it's like anything. If I have that fear, then I'll also have a fear over driving, because you definitely need to multitask.
But it's like a lot of things. Like I could even bring it back to the knitting. Like you must have to have some sort of coordination with that, or some sort of like, there must be some kind of. It must be difficult, but like if you get into it,
it's not just coordination though with knitting. That it's patience. Like
patience,
it's like anything. It's like, I think the hardest thing with consistency, the biggest like blocker is maintaining patience, because you get angry, like it's like,
it's only drawing, isn't it, or anything really.
Well, again, that was actually something else that I really want to get good at. My sister is incredible.
Yeah,
I mean,
she
you've
is
seen
good.
her artwork.
She is good.
I get envious. It's like, because I used to draw as a kid and I was never as good as her, but I look at it and I think, well, hold on, the amount of time that she spent, she probably began with stick drawings like the rest of us, but you give it the time and you can see, and it's like anything we say, practice really truly does make perfect.
It's true.
So
I think that definitely they're obtainable. So drawing and musical instruments.
Yeah, but it's going to take a lot of work. Like I say, it's good because it's a hobby, and if I can replace silly nights out and alcohol with drawing and piano.
That's kind of one of the aims of me though, is to, I feel like a lot of the time I go to bars or clubs with you or any of my mates, and I get home and I actually go, did I enjoy that, or would I rather stay at home and watch some TV? So this way I can stay at home and watch TV and just do some knitting, and it's something that I'm actually genuinely achieving a new skill.
Yeah.
Whilst also not wasting money, because it's free. I mean, I know you have to pay for the needles and the wool and stuff, but essentially once you've got all that, it's free, isn't it, really?
Problem is with nights out is it's never enough. There's always a new
Greatest Showman song.
Yeah, there's always a new night out, and there's always, it's just like there's always.
I think because I don't drink as well, though. I think I can sometimes find it very difficult to kind of, I use the word vibe. Like it's you guys are kind of on a different wavelength to me, because you all drink, obviously. So yeah,
but we're silly though, in a sense. Like I'm not like insulting us all. I'm just saying, like, there's a difference between going out and having a few drinks and just chilling out and that. But we oftentimes, and then we want to go out again after and stuff like that. And it's like, it's just, I just think it's wasting money at this point, because I can only look at it from the perspective I've got and the amount of money I've wasted on alcohol. I think it's just a distraction from your true potential, I think.
So should we go to number 3?
Yeah, absolutely.
Number 3 is fun. So something that we want. This, I guess, is kind of similar to the skill.
You say fun? Sorry.
Fun. Yeah.
Okay.
So something that we want to do more of in the new year, which is purely for entertainment. We're not necessarily learning anything. It's not necessarily going to benefit us, although it may. Yeah. I kind of got 2 for this. Do you want me to tell you mine, or you got yours? So I want to go camping more.
Yes.
I love camping.
100%. I'm down for that.
Yeah. And I want to read a lot more. My aim is to read at least 1 book a month.
That's really good.
That's my aim.
Yeah, you've really got into reading this year, haven't you? I think
I've just kind of sped up a little bit. I used to be quite a slow reader, but I think I've just got more into it. Yeah,
that's really good. I think I've got to join you with the camping one, definitely. I think that's something I really enjoy.
Yeah, because we went last year. We've not been at all this year, have we?
Absolutely, yeah. I don't know if it'll be in 2023. I hope so, but fun, definitely football. Something I'd like to get back to. Yeah.
If that's not possible in 2023, what's another thing you'd like to do instead then? Just for fun.
I'd like to kind of, like, it's a bit vague, but I'd like to, like, explore more. I'd like to, like, go a lot more.
Climbing trees.
Yeah, genuinely, stuff like that. Like, I enjoy it. I'm a big kid, mate, I tell you, and I feel like, this just because of the age we're at doesn't mean we can't have fun. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know, because we probably sound like all depressing and like,
no, but I just feel a lot of our
no nights out and that, or this, that, the other.
I know. I feel like to a regard, I feel like we sound like old men. But I think a lot of people our age, their idea of fun or a good time is actually just going out and drinking, and I feel
and
like
drugs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just feel like there's so much more to life than that. I feel like there's so many different skills we can learn, people we can interact with. You know, like I don't know. I just feel like there's more to it, and I want to branch out a little bit more. Not that I've been doing drinking or drugs, I don't do either of those things, but like, yeah, I'd like to do more stuff that maybe I wouldn't have initially thought to try. Like knitting, like I never would have thought I would do knitting, but
life is so much more than alcohol and nights out, and it's took me a long time to realise that, but that I don't enjoy them anymore. I used to. I'm not going to say it's all been doom and gloom, and all the money that I've spent has been wasted. There's been a lot of good times, don't get me wrong, but all good things come to an end. And,
yeah, but would you rather get to the end of the year, for example, having learnt a new musical instrument and you can sing Farah Jacka on piano, or play Farah Jacka on piano, or would you rather have spent $8,000 on alcohol?
Well, exactly. I mean, you know, it's
not to be condescending or
no, it's
patronising.
No, it's not in any way. No, it's 100% true. Yeah, it's just something that it's took me a long time to realise, but I've wasted a lot of not just money but time as well, where I could have been doing something a lot more productive.
Yeah.
Even as a hobby, or especially, you know, like stuff towards my future as well as hobbies. So
good.
Number 4.
Number 4. What I forgot for number 4. Any bad habits? So a bad habit we want to put an end.
Oh, for me, I can make that quick. For me, it's alcohol.
Didn't finish.
Yeah. What about yourself? For me, that's alcohol.
Okay. Well, completely or just cut down?
Almost completely. I'm talking like no more than like I don't know in units. I guess no more than like 2 bottled drinks a week, something like that.
Okay.
Maybe less than that. Maybe I'm sure there'll be some weeks I don't drink at all.
That's good. Mine is I really want to cut down on how much I use social media.
Mm-hmm.
And it kind of covers everything. It covers like obviously the obvious ones: Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter. Then also stuff like TikTok, and I guess also stuff like dating apps. And I think the best way of doing it for me, because normally I'm quite cold turkey with stuff, so I'll cut stuff out completely or you know, embrace it completely. I think for me what I'm going to do is actually kind of meet halfway in the middle with this and go, I'm going to delete it from my phone, like uninstall the apps, but I'm still going to go on it on my computer. Because I was having a conversation last night actually in the pub with our mate Dan, and I was saying to him that, you know, when you go on social media on the computer, like if you go on Twitter on the laptop now, normally it's because you actually need to do something on it or you want to do something with it. You know, it's a great tool for my career and stuff. So I can't cut it out completely. But I think all this endless doom scrolling that we do at 2 o'clock in the morning, going through Twitter at 2 o'clock in the morning or TikTok or whatever, that's what I really need to cut out. And I think the best way I can do that is to uninstall the apps from my phone. So New Year's Eve, I'm going to hopefully uninstall those apps, and I've done it before and I've done it in the past, but I think on a more permanent basis it'd be nice to cut that out. Because again, there's no real benefits to it.
Definitely attainable as well. You know, something when we talk about goals, it's something that I know you can do.
Yeah, I think the thing with it is to make sure that I can still go on my computer when I want. I think cutting it out completely would be a mistake because it's very useful to contact family members. It's very useful for my career, so I still need it to some extent.
Well, it's good that you're still focused on that, because I know we talked on the media podcast about you know, there's a lot of obviously negatives, but there are as well still positives. a lot of positives surrounding social media and that.
Yeah. So
number 5.
So we're doing that. Did you say your number 4? What was number 4 for you?
Yeah, for me, alcohol is the main one. Yeah, definitely. Right.
What am I looking for now? Number 5. Career. A goal related to our career that we want to achieve by the end of 2023. Now, I guess you kind of briefly spoke a little bit about that, didn't you?
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm still figuring that out with the acting side of stuff, whether or not there's potential there.
Yeah. You could always do that as a hobby. It's one of your hobbies, couldn't you?
Well, that's what I'm thinking about, because you know, I'm just conscious that I think I need something that I can see long term, and I'm not sure that it's just such a competitive industry. It really is.
Well, so is what I do, I guess, with the behind the scenes stuff. Yeah.
It's just it's. I don't want to say it, you know. It demotivates me.
I think if you're passionate about it, you can definitely get there. But you have to be passionate.
You have to. That's the thing. You'd have to be the 100% committed, and I don't think I am truly. At the minute, at least. At the minute, I don't mind admitting that. Like at the minute, that's why I've got a decision to make with it. If it's not that, then like I say, I'd like to perhaps look at progressing with perhaps football coaching is something I enjoy. You know, I've got FA levels that I can. I mean, the main thing I really need, honestly, is a driving license, so I can start looking at jobs like that, because most of them do require, for the sake of travelling and stuff, be it to the location or to travel to different for matches and stuff. You know, you need a car, so
yeah.
So again, a driving license is something that is definitely a goal for me. I'm not sure which sector of the 7 it fits into, but it's definitely one I'd like to look at. I don't want to say too many. For me, it'll be driving license or a car or the flat. It's not going to be both by next year. Financially, I don't think that's doable. But unless I literally, but it's not going to happen. It's unrealistic. You know, we talk about like realism with goals. I was going to say, if I literally didn't spend anything apart from expenses for food, literally the things that keep me alive, and
but you've got to find time to do things that you enjoy. So, like, I've got a lot of like books and CDs and stuff that I haven't listened to or read or whatever. So, kind of a mini goal for me next year is to listen to stuff or read stuff that I've already got rather than buying new stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll treat myself on payday. Maybe I'll buy a new thing on payday. But I think, as humans generally, we're so materialistic and our lives are so crammed with things, and it's nice just to enjoy what you've already got without having to buy new stuff. But yeah, relating to what you said, definitely you've got to have a bit of a chance to relax. You can't completely cut yourself off for that. So my career goal is I want to kind of fully exit retail, which I've kind of already done. I've got a new job in the new year, which isn't, which I'll be starting in the new year, which isn't retail related. So, but what I hope is that I don't go back to retail. I hope that's kind of it now. Fingers crossed. And then I'd also like to get at least one filming job next year, which I think is definitely attainable. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
One job over the year, even if it's just like a week or a month somewhere working for a production company.
Sounds good.
I'd love to do that. Yeah. Should we go for the next one?
Absolutely.
What number are we on? 6.
Fitness.
A fitness goal we want to reach by the end of 2023.
So I think I kind of already said about like I've got a specific weight goal. So 72 kilograms is kind of the goal. It's quite a massive. I mean, it's gonna require a lot of eating and a lot of training, because I'm 60 as it is right now. We're talking 12 kilograms here. It's a lot, but it is doable.
72, did you say? Yeah.
I'll call it 70. I'll say 10 kilograms because
that's doable. Yeah. I think that's doable.
Yeah. So it's about like maybe a kilogram or 2 a month, which I'd like to think is
well, if you
doable.
say 72, then that's exactly a kilogram a month, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, there you go. I'll say 72 then. So I'll try a kilogram a month.
Yeah, and that's again, talking before about smaller targets. Rather than looking at I've got to try and get 12 kilograms over a year, think I've got to try and get 1 kilogram extra a month.
It's a good way to break it down, rather than just thinking, I've got to do that by the end of 12 months, rather than going, well, I'll do this 1 month
at a time.
If not. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's one. Fitness, otherwise, like I say, talked about the knee. I want to get the knee back to full strength. Well, not full strength, because it's never going to be 100% again, but post surgery and that. But as 80%, 90%, I'd like. And generally, I'm not happy with my general fitness. I don't think I'm fast like I used to be. I don't think I'm as good a runner.
Okay.
I mean, I've seen just like the way you, and I mean this with no disrespect to you, but the way you compared to me on a treadmill now speaks volumes of where you've come.
Yeah.
Because I used to be the fastest runner in school, and you were the slowest.
One of the slowest. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, you were one of them.
I was 2 or 3 from the back. I wasn't the back.
But now you're almost as quick as me on it. Like so you've come so far, and I've kind of just declined with all the alcohol and the that's not sleeping right, not eating right. I've done my own health in, but it doesn't mean to say that I can't. It's not too late. If I was doing that and I just carried on with alcohol and the way I'm living now into my 40s, then I could be looking at like heart disease and strokes and all that horrible stuff in late 40s, which you don't, or early 30s, whatever.
Yeah.
That you don't want. So yeah, I think just generally, mate, I just want to get back into fitness, generally speaking.
That's good. And again, I guess that relates a little bit back to the consistency goal, and that you've got to be consistent with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess all these goals to an extent you've got to be consistent with. You know, knitting, reading, camping, doing football, whatever it is. You got a piano. You got to be consistent with all these things. My fitness one, I'd like to get down to, and I know that BMI isn't always accurate or can't always be relied upon, but I'd like to get to a healthy BMI weight, and that's very attainable because right now I'm about 69 kilograms, and I'd like to get to 68, which is what's classed as healthy for my height.
Yeah.
And that's very doable. Lose 1 kilogram. I'm sure I can do that in 12 months. But it's about making sure I do lose that 1 kilogram. I don't put on more weight. It's about keeping off the weight, really, more than anything. So I'd like to.
I want to gain weight. You want to lose it?
Well, lose it, but I guess kind of stay constant.
Yeah.
So do that. The other thing I'd like to do is I'm currently lifting 14 kilogram weights. This is a very big challenge, but I'm gonna put it out there. I'd like to try and be lifting 24s by the end of next year.
24s, wow. I mean, I will say...
But again, break it down, that's only like an extra kilogram a month or something.
I will say,
Less
though,
than.
one thing is, you know, I mean, I did 20s yesterday, and I never thought I'd do that. I looked at that weight when I started.
I never thought I'd do 14s. I was on 6s when I started last year.
Yeah.
So anything's possible. It is more of a challenge than some of the other things on this list. But
yeah, I mean... Yeah. Above my shoulders, I'm lifting a third of my body weight, which is quite.
Yeah,
good.
I don't think I could ever do more than 24. I think 24 would always be the limit.
24 is a huge weight, though.
That's a third of my weight, isn't it? Really.
But that's a huge weight. Even if you weighed like your old weight, like it's a huge weight.
So I'd like to do that. I'd like
but it is doable.
It's not. This one isn't really a goal because there's nothing I can really do to make it happen. But I'd like to see more physical changes in my weights, in my muscles.
You will, though. I've said this. The hardest thing is you've got to remember you've actually not been training
that long. Yeah.
Because you've done a little bit with weights.
Yeah,
but
because actually
the vast majority of your work has been running, hasn't it?
That's true, and I also only rejoined the gym in November.
Yeah.
So 2 months, pretty much, I've been doing. So there's still a lot of time to do it, and I think it's just taking it gradually. And if I don't achieve that 24 kilograms to lift, nothing lost. But it's nice to have a little goal. In the back of my mind. So should we go for the final goal?
Yeah, absolutely. It's number 7.
Number 7. Which is I just wrote down an extra goal. Anything additional you want to achieve next year? I can say mine if you want.
I think I've actually, honestly, probably got enough because again.
You've got a lot. We both got a lot.
Talk about like being realistic and that. I wouldn't want to say too many because I genuinely really want to carry out these goals. I don't just want it to be words,
listing off stuff,
words, and then just for the podcast, and then I don't do it. I want to be able to come back if we do return, and I hope we do by the end of next year and say, I did this.
I've achieved this. Yeah.
It'd be brilliant. It'd be really good. Yeah.
And I've got you on microphone now, so I can take these audio snippets out, and you can confess to yourself whether you've done it or not.
Well, like I say, hopefully, fingers crossed. If it's great thing is it's only in my hands.
Yeah. So my additional one, and again, I'm not sure if this is doable. I guess it kind of is if I put my mind to it. And I guess this one's more about like just doing it, just going for it and forcing myself to do it. I've got a big Doc 2 convention in June in Oldbourne, which is kind of like in Wiltshire. So I guess it's kind of more down south. I would love to be able to drive there.
Brilliant.
It'd be probably 3 or 4 hours of driving, maybe a little bit more. I don't know how long it would necessarily take, but I'd love to be able to say that I've driven there rather than getting the train, because I've been twice before, and both times I've had travel issues just because of how remote this little village is where they do the event. Like 1 year I had to get 3 trains, and then the next year I had to get a 6 or 7 hour coach because the trains were on strike. So I'd love to actually drive there and just say I've done it and be really proud of it. So it's a big goal, 6 months, just over 6 months to drive all the way to the other side of the country with motorways and roundabouts and roads that I don't know, but I'd love to do that. And then kind of a smaller version of that, we're talking about breaking goals down a little bit. I've got a small event in Sheffield in March. Now, Sheffield's only about an hour's drive away, but I'd like to try
or Woodhead? What's it called?
Yeah, not looked into it. But
I will say one thing I remember, actually. My dad drove me to I used to obviously do karate, martial arts. He drove me to a karate competition in Sheffield.
Yeah.
And we drove, I think it was the Snake Pass, and it was, honestly, the roads there are so good. You'll actually enjoy it, because it gets to a point where it's really quiet as well.
My parents have advised me against Snake Pass.
Well, the only reason being is it depends on the time of the year that you go, because it is, I think it's in the UK. It's one of the highest points above sea level.
Really?
When we went, it was like being in the clouds. It was the foggy. you almost couldn't see. That's why I loved it. That's why I remembered it. My dad hated it because he was the one driving. I loved it. I was just looking out the window. It felt like I was in heaven. It was, I'm sure there's white everywhere.
I'm sure there's other routes if not. But my aim was, I guess what I'm trying to say is that I've got the big event in June, which is the other side of the country. A smaller kind of practice version of that would be going to Sheffield in March. Halfway, 3 months in, halfway along the the challenge or the goal. I'd like to drive to Sheffield. I'd like to do that. Again, whether I'll do these things, we don't know. But it's nice to have goals.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Would you like me to round up what we've got for the goals? Because I've written them all down as we've gone along.
Absolutely.
So we can be sure of what you can sign. You verbally sign that you're going to do these things or not do these things. No pressure, but it would be nice to do it, I guess. Right. So for the first goal, which was consistency, you said breakfast.
I feel like I'm on a game show. It's like for your first answer.
Did you say?
Our survey says.
It's the consistency with breakfast and work.
Yes.
And I said waking up at a good time or having a good sleeping pattern. Skills. I said knitting. You said musical instruments or drawing. They're both pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Fun.
I say hand drawing.
Yeah. Fun. I said I want to read at least one book a month and go camping. And you said camping
and football
and exploring.
Yeah, definitely.
Exploring.
Yeah.
For cutting stuff out of our lives, you said alcohol, and I said cutting down on social media.
Mm-hmm.
For career, you said you want to do some more acting, maybe football coaching, maybe get a driving license. I guess it's kind of all connected.
Yep.
And I said I want to get at least one filming job and hopefully quit retail altogether. Although I may have already done that. It depends where next year takes me. And for fitness, you said you want to get to 72 kilograms, get your knee kind of sorted, and just general fitness. And I said I want to get to 68 kilograms. I want to see some physical, some proper change in my muscles, and I want to be able to lift 24 kilograms by the end of the year. And then for an additional goal, I just said driving to Sheffield and Aldbourne, and you kind of didn't say an additional goal, but that's kind of okay.
I think I've got enough because I know that
there's a lot there.
I know if I do too much, then I'm I'll be less inclined to carry them out because I'll be too fixated on one or two. So. And
sometimes you can be too busy trying to spin different plates rather than focusing on one. Do you know what I mean?
I've got some big priorities with some of them that I've already said, like work being one, for example. So I want to
What is like your top three then? Top three goals.
Work.
You don't achieve anything else. You'd love to do these three.
That's a good question, actually. So I think I would say, as good as the piano and drawing would be, they're not at the top of my list. I'd say work is number one because that's my career essentially.
Yeah.
Number two, I would say. I remember them. I'm just thinking. I think football is up there. I think it is up there. It might be number three, maybe though. Football.
Yeah.
I think it is something I really do want to get back to doing. I do miss it a lot. I think I said on a new skill or something. Was there another one?
Which one was that? So a new skill you wanted, musical instrument and drawing.
No, sorry. So it'll be number
fun.
Fun. Sorry.
Camping, football, and exploring.
Yeah, again, they're not really at the top of the list. They're still important to me, but I'd say, just again, sorry, what were the first ones that I said?
Breakfast and work was the first one.
Okay.
Alcohol, he said.
Oh, alcohol, yeah. Yeah, no, I'd say that'd be number two. I want to cut the alcohol out.
So work, alcohol, football?
I think so. I think that'd be a good thing. Cool. Yeah.
I think mine would be...
the gym one's a big one as well. I put gym as kind of like joint three with football.
Yeah.
Gym and football and general fitness. They all kind of tie in.
I guess for me, number one... I guess in terms of how much a challenge it would be, and I guess the way you've got to judge these is which are the ones you'd be most proud of. Number one would be driving to Wiltshire. That'd be an incredible challenge. I'd be really proud of doing that. So that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two would be my sleeping pattern. I feel that's very important to me. And number three would be, I guess, getting one proper filming job would be nice. But then I'd also like to do the knitting. That's quite a kind of more personal thing that I think would be it's something that you could see. You've got something in front of your eyes to prove that you've done it.
It's good that we're kind of struggling to determine a top three because I think that convinces each other that they're all important to us. We're not just saying stuff out of the blue.
But they're important in different ways, and that's one of the reasons I set up these categories for this podcast. Because you could say that career is important, and it is, but at the same time, having fun's important. And if you want to spend more time reading,
it's about balance, isn't it?
Yeah, everything's about balance, and exercise is important, and it's also kind of important to cut down on certain things from time to time, and they're all important.
Because we should say, like, not everything's bad. We're not saying don't ever have an energy drink, don't ever go out clubbing, don't ever, you know, like whatever. You know, you got to have your fun.
It's all moderation, but the thing is with me, and I guess this is one way that perhaps we differ, is that with me, I'm kind of a cold turkey guy. I'm kind of all or nothing.
And I'm more kind of like balanced.
You can kind of ease out of stuff a little bit more, perhaps.
The thing that I've learned is that balance is key. It's great if you do go cold turkey with certain things, because I've said I almost want to do that with the alcohol, because I know it's something that's really bad for me.
Yeah.
So, and my mental health. So it's like, you know, that is a good thing where, you know, if someone was addicted to drugs, I would say, I mean, it's not attainable to just go cold turkey all the time. Not everyone has your ability, which is really commendable, by the way, I will say. But not everyone could just go from.
But I think it's also negative at some point.
Yeah.
I think I'd sometimes take it too far, perhaps.
Perhaps, maybe, but again, that's something you can look at and say, well, you know, as we've just discussed, you know, balance is key. Yeah, exactly.
With social media, I'm saying, well, I'm still going to go on my computer from time to time.
Yeah.
But on my phone, I won't be going on it. One kind of additional goal, which I guess is for both of us in a way, is I would love to finish to Come Dine With Me.
Yeah, because again it ties this. Oh, you know, one thing I didn't say, but I don't want to have too many goals. I've just remembered. I actually really enjoy cooking. I really enjoy cooking. So again, I'll say something. Yeah. Something generally I want to get back to is cooking, because I do enjoy it, and like you say, my mum's a really good cook, and she's willing to help teach me and stuff. So
yeah, but look at you. You know, you just listed on this podcast so many things that you could spend your evening doing: cooking, reading, camping, football, everything.
Yeah.
And I feel like I say all you, I don't mean to sound again patronising or condescending, because I could say it to most people our age, and I'll probably say it to myself. All we seem to end up doing in evenings is going to bars and clubs, and there's so much more out there.
And drinking, yeah, and it's exactly. And I think this podcast, and I thank yourself for this especially, it's really awakened me and made me realise that, yeah, there is. You know, the great thing about doing these podcasts, like you say, is as well as hopefully helping others, where it helps us, doesn't it? And you know, self-reflection essentially.
And I think there's nothing to be ashamed of if you want to break away from the crowd a little bit, because, you know, someone could listen to this podcast and say Pete sounds boring because he's reading and knitting all year, but like, you've got to do what makes you happy.
And like, if that is Doctor Who, or it's knitting, or it's reading, or whatever it is, like,
you've got to do what makes you happy. And for me, obviously, I don't drink, so a lot of time clubs don't make me happy. Or, you know, you might find certain things that I do wouldn't make you happy. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, I guess you've got to do what makes you happy, and you can't be I use the word sheep, but like, yeah, you can't be a sheep the whole time.
Yeah.
With stuff. And you can't always follow what other people do, and you shouldn't.
You shouldn't. I think that's the big thing we're saying, is you shouldn't. You should be your own person, because, you know, otherwise you're not going to be happy, are you? You're not going to be content. Like, if you're putting yourself in positions where you're mixing with people you don't get on with just for the sake of, you know, feeling like you're fitting in, or you're going to places you don't feel comfortable with.
Yeah, but it's the same with everything. You know, it's the same with everything. Like the clothes you wear, you know, if you drink or not, if you do drugs or not.
That's social pressure.
People are so influenced by everything.
Yeah.
Even like, you know, even the words you use or everything. There's so many things that you feel like you have to do to fit in, and I just feel personally like, I mean, I say that I commend myself actually, that I don't feel like I'm a sheep most of the time. Most of the time I'm happy to do my own thing and do what makes me happy. But I feel like, yeah, there is definitely times where I will kind of follow the crowd a little bit, and I'd like next year to not do that as much. Yeah. It's not really a goal, because it's just a natural thing that I'm going to just aim to do, but I'd like to be my own person a lot more.
I think I am naturally already kind of my own person. I do things for the sake of myself and not others.
I suppose so, but I think you also do follow well, I don't know, I suppose if you enjoy it. I was going to say you do go to bars and clubs a lot, but if you enjoy it, then it's your own.
Well, again though, that's something that I am really looking to cut out next year.
Yeah.
But I put that in, I don't want to say too many, because for me that is alcohol, because, you know, if I go out on a drink, it's going to be in a bar or club, isn't it? So that's me.
Cool. I feel like this has been a bit of like, we've set ourselves a lot today, so we could come back next year and say that we've achieved none of this, but I guess that's okay as well. That's okay, as long as we don't murder anybody in 2023.
I think the best that, well, yeah, I wasn't planning that, but I'm saying but I think the most important thing is that I'm convinced that both of us, and I hope you're convinced that I am, we're going to work towards them all.
Yeah, in our own ways. And the thing is, like, we're in quite a weird position, which wouldn't happen very often, where both of us next year, very early on in the new year, are starting new jobs, which is quite exciting.
It's a good start.
We're both, really getting into our exercise and we're doing really well at it and getting really well, getting into it.
Yeah, there's a lot to do.
And we both got things I think that next year will be very special for. So, like, again, I hate to bring it up, but next year's a big anniversary for Doctor Who, and I'll be celebrating a lot of that and watching a lot of new Doctor Who stuff. Dave Tennant's back as the Doctor, and
so it's something to look forward to
something
already,
to look forward
isn't
at
it?
the end of the year. And then you've obviously got your football that you want to do and other stuff that you want to do next year. And
we should say that should be your goals, people, is stuff that you
be happy.
Yeah. Well, that's a bit general. I was going to say, like, have stuff that links to, like, hobbies and stuff that you enjoy doing, have stuff to look forward to in 2023. Whatever's happened this year, you can write behind you. It doesn't, like the quote said, it's difficult. It's not going to be easy, but that's where you need a plan. You need goals.
But that is like, this is one of the things that I have said to you before, and I've probably said it on a podcast before, like, and it's the reason I wrote that big list of achievements. It wasn't to say, oh, look at me, how amazing am I? The reason I wrote that achievement list was because I think too easily, I'm guilty of it as much as anybody, but I think we all do it, we focus in on the negatives. And there's been 2 or 3 negatives this year that have greatly affected me. And I can't let them, take over my life and control me. You've got to focus on the positives in life.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I just think 2023 is a natural time to say goodbye to those things that maybe didn't work out this year and say hello to some cool, exciting things that are coming up next year. Am I fair saying that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I can't wait. I'm excited.
New year, new me. New year, new us.
It sounds so cliche,
it does.
The thing is,
it's an opportunity, I guess.
Like, it's just a new start, isn't it? It's a new start for both of us, and hopefully for our viewers as well. Like,
it's another 365 days to. Again, I kind of hate the phrase reinvent ourselves, because that sounds like we're completely renovating ourselves from top to bottom, which we're not. But
no,
it's a chance to change bits or tweak bits that we feel would improve us.
Yeah, it's just kind of like
maintenance.
It's just kind of building on the jigsaw, isn't it? In a sense, yeah. We're just continuing in the same path. We're not becoming new people or anything. We're not like,
It's like putting better petrol in a car.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good analogy.
That'll help it run more smoothly and run all the way to Wiltshire, hopefully, in June. So
well, that's I hope so.
But yes, I think this is a little bit shorter than we planned, but that's okay. We don't want to ramble for too long anyway. So I hope everybody at home, if you're listening to this on the day it's going out, New Year's Eve, are enjoying it. And have a great New Year's Eve. If you're, don't go too crazy, but have a great New Year's Eve, whatever you're doing.
Can I just say very quickly, where could our viewers potentially message us if they wanted to?
Well, nowhere, because I'm doing next year without social media. I'm joking. Well, you can email. Yes. Maybe I'll put the email in the description. Maybe, or
we should emphasise. Sorry, that would be completely and utterly confidential between us. There'd be no one would know. Or anything, or it's just if you have any questions, any queries, or if there's anything you'd like, literally you can message us anything. That's the point. So
yeah, I mean, you can always perhaps better than email actually would be, you can always comment on, if you're listening on Spotify or YouTube, you can always comment, and especially if it's on YouTube, I always see the comment and I usually reply, or I'll definitely give it a like and nothing else. So maybe YouTube's the best option if you're on YouTube, or again, Spotify. I normally leave when I put the podcast on Spotify, I normally leave a question on there for people to leave their responses to. So when we did the fear podcast, I said, what was one fear that you've got over and how did you get over it, or something like that.
Yeah.
And normally people don't reply to it, but it's always an option if people want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
Communicate.
Absolutely. Like, if, like I say, if we can help one person. And it probably takes a lot for that one person to come out and speak. But
when you use the word help, I always think you mean like completely change them overnight in terms of mental health, and we're not there for that. We're not experts.
But that's not doable. No one could do that.
But one thing perhaps you could help with, because one thing that I see a lot of with people our own age, but I guess for a lot of people, is loneliness. So if you just want to comment, and we'll reply, and we'll get a bit of a report going, and it'll be good. A bit of. I'm always happy to talk to new people, and if you're a fan of the podcast, it means a lot to us. So
it could be anything, whether it's loneliness, whether it's anxiety.
A new recipe for Harry to cook in the new year. You've got a recipe you want to send?
Yeah. Well, get a request in for come dine with me.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, whatever it is, we're.
Or have you got a topic you want us to cover?
Yeah.
In the second lot of these.
Should say this is for anyone, not just men, by the way.
Men, women,
this
old, young.
Yeah, women, whatever age, yeah,
kids.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
So, thank you very much for listening, as ever.
Yes, thank you.
Always a pleasure.
We've got, I should just say, next week will be the last one of the series, which will be kind of a roundup of everything we've learnt along the course of the podcast, and
it'll be good.
Then maybe we'll come back for a second lot. I don't know yet what'll happen, but yeah, thank you for. I always say it, but thank you for joining me on this podcast, Harry. It's nice to have you here.
Absolutely, mate. It's been fun. I feel like if people were to take a shot every time I've said absolutely this podcast.
Absolutely.
That'd be interesting.
Cool. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll see you in the new year in 2023.
Take care, guys, and all the best. Have a great new year.